What's the deal, YouTube? It's your boy NXTGEN720, and I am back with another video. I haven't done a video in a few days. It's fine. Oh, they're doing a video. Okay, thank you. I haven't done a video in a few days. Last video I did was Thursday, the multiplayer podcast, and I was, it was crazy. I had a whole slew of topics that I wanted to talk about, and the last minute, I said, you know what? Let me talk about what's going on right now in America. And sometimes I like to do videos like that. And trust me, this video is not even about this. I'm not going to try to make it long. But like I said, with me personally, I've been very depressed for the last few days. I have been. You know what I mean? The fact that I've seen, two men get executed on social media, on Instagram. I left out the house earlier that day. Alton Sterling got killed in Louisiana. And then when I came in the house, I came in the house like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm on Instagram, and I see the guy from Lando Castillo taking his last breaths again on Instagram, and it bothered me. You know what I mean? And then I did a show about it. If you haven't checked it, check it out. You know what I mean? It's a multicultural podcast. White people, black people, Puerto Rican people, everything. Whatever. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of people on the podcast. And right after I said in the video, I said, it's only but so much people can take. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna be honest, and I'm not gonna say that again. I always say it's not really a black thing or white thing. It's a right thing. You know what I mean? And this is a problem with police officers, period, abusing their, authority. They killed a white kid and a few white people. It doesn't happen as many as whites as it does blacks by far, or minorities. But it's wrong when it happens, period. And after we did the show not so long ago, 5 officers were murdered in Dallas. And that's great. I said in the podcast, I said what's going to happen. Something really bad is going to happen. You know what I mean? And right now, I've said this, that racial tensions in America is at an all-time high, and it shouldn't be this way. I don't know, we're all human beings. But anyway, and like I said, you have bad cops out there. You have good cops. My uncle's a cop. My grandmother's son is a cop. You know what I mean? But the problem is the big problem, that there are more good cops in the world than bad cops by far. But when the bad cops do something or whatever, lots of 9 times out of 10, the good cops don't say anything. There's a wall of silence, and that has to stop. They do. But again, so that's why I haven't been doing any video. I've been unplugged. And then my wife, like I said, if you don't know, she got her master's, and so I threw her a surprise party for that. But like I said, just step back and just reflect, man. It's like it's and people are marching, and I live in West Orange, New Jersey. Hey, there you go, suburbs. But they were even marching out here. Like, this shit is all over. But we need to stop as a people and come together, man. For another tragedy like in Dallas happened. Like, we need to stop all the bullshit. We're all created equal. You know what I mean? Now, on to the day. I know it's 3 minutes in, but I just had to get that off my chest. On to today's video. So a lot has been going on, so I haven't been doing videos. I mean, I'm looking at crap's been fucking turning out videos like rabbits having babies. It's like, goddamn, like, do. But anyway, today's going to be Big Game of Small Talk. Of course, podcast. Check it out. We're going to talk about a lot of shit there. Anyway, I'm going back to my catalog because I'm going to trade in this Xbox here. I'm going to finish Quantum Break. I got sidetracked. I'm going to finish that before, I trade this Xbox One in towards the Xbox One S. But anyway, I was reading an article here, and something I wanted to do a video about, and that's something I told you. I remember Crap or somebody on BGST or saying that, developers are not happy with Microsoft and with Sony. We're not even saying much Microsoft, but they weren't happy with Sony with quote-unquote PS4NEO. And I told them then, bullshit, because when Microsoft and Sony, I can't say for Nintendo, but when Microsoft and Sony, when they create consoles, they make console or new hardware, they go to their biggest partner, they go to third parties, say, hey, this is what we're working on. What do you guys think? They get their input. We're just now hearing about it, okay? But Epic, or well, I won't say Epic, but you think of the big Activision, EA, Take-Two, Rockstar, they've been in the loop from the beginning. But anyway, so here's an article here from the vice president, it might be the vice president of Epic. They're saying that they're absolutely thrilled says Sweeney, it gives us the best of both worlds, the upgraded cycle on the PC, which ensures that people always have access to the latest and greatest hardware, and games don't get out of date over a 7-year cycle. Together with the fact there is a box you can go out and buy, or two boxes, and you're guaranteed that everything can still work. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to Porter Rock. I said something in the podcast. No longer will we have to wait 2 to 3 years into a console's life cycle to get a God of War, or to get a Halo, or to get a Gears, to make sure the install base is big enough so they can make their money back. You know, but just think about whenever the next Xbox, whatever, Scorpio, whatever comes in, just think Halo 6 can launch on that, because guess what? It's not starting from one. The Scorpio's install base is not starting from one. It's just adding on to the whatever Microsoft has sold. And the same thing with the PlayStation 4 Neo. And I think this is a beautiful strategy going forward. You know what I mean? That no longer will our games get old, the controls, we can just take our existing library, just like on PC. You know what I mean? That's one of the big thing PC gamers have against console gamers. You know, they've been, you know what, I still got my games I've been playing from '88. Now, us as, you know, console gamers, we get to experience the same thing. Unless the technology changes, unless they move away from x86 and they go on to something new. But x86 has been the PC, been the, you know, the main focus for PC gaming for eons. You know what I mean? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the original Xbox, OG Xbox, the true OG, I believe that was x86 as well. You know what I mean? So I think for the foreseeable future that consoles and PC are going to be basically, I won't say they're going to be tied at the hip, but shout out to my boy Show. You know, he's been open to this for a while. You know what I mean? Months before we started upgrading hardware, he was saying basically for console gaming to go forward. You know what I mean? PC gaming has to go. Just think about it, because I've said this many times that normally when the Xbox or the PlayStation come out, they have the top of the line hardware for those times. But that 8 and 9-year-old console generation that lasted last generation was so unhealthy to this industry. You know what I mean? Ray was. So that what happened when we got the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, they are already dated. They were struggling, there are very few games that are 1080p, 60 frames a second this generation. Oh, I done dropped the camera. I'm sorry about that. It was very few games that are 1080p, 60 frames a second. This generate very few. You know what I mean? Mostly the target is 1080p 30. Now again, I really don't care about frames, and it's not a big deal to me. But I'm just saying, we didn't get that big old shit to me when we got these new consoles. Don't get me wrong, you have games that look nice graphically. Like, I think Rise is a very nice looking game. The Order 1886. There are a few nice looking games, but just think about the number of old shit games we got last generation. Like, first time you saw Assassin's Creed, the first time you saw Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, the first time we saw Gears of War, the first time you may have saw Uncharted. Give me another IP that was new. Of their food, like we haven't got many this generation. And again, why? Like I said, the remasters and remakes, we have to stop this. We have to cut that shit short. Like, you know what I mean? We bought new consoles to play new games. Like, no more remasters, remake, because at the end of the day, they are what you call quote unquote cash grabs for these companies. But that right there is really hurting the industry. You know what I mean? Just think about. Listen, it's not a PlayStation thing or an Xbox. Even Nintendo's done it. But just think about how many remasters we've had this generation on both platforms compared to new IPs. That's what I'm saying. We haven't got many new IPs this generation. We haven't. You know what I mean? Okay. If you want to count Watch Dogs, we got to see how Watch Dogs 2 go. Okay. Titanfall. Okay, you consider that. But even with Titanfall, it was on the 360. Destiny, even that was on the 360. A Division. Okay, but you understand where I'm going with this. Like, finally the 360 and the PS3, they're dead. No more of that shit there. But going forward, I really am, looking for developers to really pushing the hardware of these new consoles, the PS4NEO and the Xbox Scorpio. I don't know what Sony's doing as far as with their technology they're using, as far as, because it's still going to be one game. Whether you buy the PlayStation 4 I mean, Neo. There's not going to be exclusive Neo games. Like they're not going to be an exclusive Scorpio games. You know, your catalogs are going to work on both the Neo and the Scorpio. Now, listen, that can change maybe in the future. You know, they may get a little cheeky and coy to sell more hardware. They may say that this game couldn't be made on the Xbox One or the vanilla PlayStation 4. They needed the Scorpio. Maybe I could see something like that happen. Them saying that maybe in 2 years. You know what I mean? So don't be surprised if that happens. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, but just being real, like, you know, the 360 was still getting games, and that console came out in 2005. So if a developer does say that, you know, they're probably, I think they're full of shit. You know what I mean? It's fact. You know what I mean? Because as dated as the PS4 and the Xbox One is, they're still more capable than a lot of people gaming rigs. You know what I mean? You know, because according to Valve and their survey that they filled, the people that filled out that survey, rig was actually weaker than the Wii U. You know, I'm not saying all gaming rigs, but like, you know what I mean? There are quite a few people that play on PCs, very low settings. You know, it is what it is. But anyway, this is your boy NXTGEN720. Look out for the podcast later on. Also, too, I'm going to do a review. I'm going to be reviewing the Samsung Galaxy Edge. You know, I went back to the iPhone. You know what I mean? And I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion of that, who I think has the better phone and the better product. But this is your boy NXTGEN720. Look, I got a lot of stuff that's on the way and on the horizon that I don't want to talk about yet. I want to count my eggs before they're hatched. But anyway, you know, thank you for rocking out with Big Game and Small Talk. Maya, thank you. I love you much. But anyway, I'm out of here. I'm not going to get too long.